So if you want to, being that you're kind of crunched on time and you're looking to depart, which is completely understandable. If anything, what I'd like to do is like, I guess this would be a challenge, more or less.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and try to do a lyrical speed run for the Drakketh Saga, if you're down.
Okay. Yeah,
Cool.
I can do. Yeah.
Track by track. Yeah, starting with, the Sun Lover track. I haven't even listened to this album yet. I'll be listening to it tomorrow morning. I forgot to do my homework yesterday, and I
Yeah.
feel
No,
shitty for
that's
that.
fine. No, that's all
Um,
right.
so yeah, I mean, take it away, sir. Basically, well, what does each song mean, for the sake of the Under the Skin session?
Yeah, too easy. All right. Well, just quickly to preface,
Yes.
Sun Lover. The Drakketh Saga is actually a concept album. Um, as is the more or less the band in a way. As
Yes.
when we started it, one of my things is that I fucking love concept albums. Oh, actually, fuck it, I forgot completely. So one of my favorite bands ever is Coheed and Cambria,
Okay.
and so I love concept albums, which again, Protest the Hero, Fortress concept album, all that kind of stuff. Love concept albums. So the Drakketh Saga is a concept album. It's a high fantasy concept of like essentially our big boy Drakketh, who is a undead dragon, hence Dragoncorpse. Um,
Ooh.
uh, our big boy Drakketh is he's not a big fan of celestial bodies, aka the sun and the moon, as in the fantasy world that we have created. The sun and the moon are not necessarily just celestial bodies in the sky that are gas or stars or anything along those lines. They are, in essence, the gods of the world. And sort of like, I suppose, a little bit more like Japanese fantasy.
Ooh.
The power of these gods are actually more so built on the faith and the belief of the people that witness them. So, like, looking out in the sky right now, everyone on the earth would say yes, the sun is real, unless they were a conspiracy theorist that the sun is
Yeah.
just a big globe
Big
and
light bulb. Light
we're on a flat
bulb.
planet and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So in essence, everyone believes in the sun. We'll just say generally, everyone believes in the sun, and so therefore the sun is the number one deity. Inversely, everyone believes in the moon, the other 12 hours. And so essentially in this realm, the sun and the moon, they're not necessarily friends, but they have, rather than committing mutually assured destruction of I want to be the number one ruler of this planet, which would be destructive in and of itself, because can you imagine it being daytime 24 fucking 7? That would
Yes.
suck for everyone. They have decided to split the time and split the worship between themselves. And so what that has sort of done as split the people of this people of this world, to essentially who is going to worship what, who is going to be more of a fan of which deity and all that kind of stuff, which breeds its own sort of issues of, as is the way of let's look at sports. It's just like you've got sports team A and sports team B.
Yes.
These people like sports team A, these people like sports team B. Well, hey, sports team A fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sports team B. Your sports team fucking sucks. So that is just a natural reaction that occurs with any opposing sort of or
Yes.
competing ideologies. And so the world is a messy place because these people really like the moon, these people really like the sun. And you know what? Our big boy Drakketh is kind of just over that. He doesn't really, he would prefer that there were no celestial bodies and that if people or creatures on the earth were to worship anything, they should worship themselves. Which is that's sort of it's getting too far into like metaphysical discussions of self and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, just from the sake of like a high fantasy setting, our dragon is he's just had enough. He's just like, man, fuck this. He's going postal when it comes to how the world is going to be run, and so he wants to fuck up the sun in particular because he's the top dog. He's the number one, and so taking it from there, Sun Lover is pretty much about the lovers of the sun, that the people that worship the sun recognizing Drakketh as a threat and then deciding that he's got to go. And so it's essentially like a lot of this, a lot of Dragoncorpse and a lot of like the lyrical sort of either content or like how the story goes is very reminiscent of like RPGs and JRPGs and all that kind of stuff as well. Like you have the big bad, you have in this instance from the perspective of the people, Drakketh is the big bad, he's the demon king. We need a hero that's going to slay the Demon King with a party of loyal vassals and all that kind of stuff. And so Sun Lover is from the perspective of Drakketh being fucked up by the hero party. Essentially, he's trying to rid the world of what he sees as being the rulers. The celestial gods are essentially just using the people for their own gain, their own power over the universe. And so the lyrics for that are pretty much about Drakketh saying, well, I mean, shit, I lost, but so did you, because now all that's going to happen is that there's not going to be anyone to contest this, and then this is just going to be your future. And so, but then on the flip side, once again, coming from like a lot of this kind of comes from a lot of my lyrical inspiration for this is like high fantasy and all that kind of jazz, of course. But yeah, a lot of like Japanese folklore and all that kind of stuff. And like one of the things that I actually really liked, especially from like a zombie perspective on like how Japanese mythos sort of revolves around like zombies and stuff like that, is that a lot of it has to do with like emotion. And so a lot of ghosts, ghost stories and all that kind of stuff comes from emotion, in that like the Grudge and stuff like that. The Grudge came from just such an immense sadness and anger that this manifested into the ghost that was from the Grudge. I can't actually remember what her name was anymore, but it's essentially like that. It's just like such an immense like force that this is what actually created like the ghost in a way. And so with our big boy Drakketh, the amount of frustration and anger that came from being killed by what he feels are just peons, then actually managed to sustain his own sort of like, not necessarily physical being, but like metaphysical being, like his ghost, his spirit was able to live on.
All right, sorry, continue, sir.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, that's so his spirit was able to stay in the world, and so essentially Sun Lover is just a precursor of, yeah, you killed me, but I'm gonna be back. And so that leads into that's Sun Lover, which then leads into the first interlude, which is about our boy Sturm.
Untold years since the slaying of Drakketh, trained of all that would prove his existence. The mortal realm has erased their fear, pledging their souls to the celestial gods. We find ourselves here, beneath the earth's outdated enter. Amongst the matriarchal dwarves preparing a feast, but not one for the stomachs of mortals, but for the sleeping gods of the mountain. A feast of blood and bone. The Queen Delian, preparing a morsel only she can. The soul of her only son, the one they call Sturm.
So Sturm is the primary character for Blood and Stones, and Sturm is a dwarf who was born to in the world that I wrote. Dwarves are a matriarchal society, so they have a queen, and like all of the female side is the dominant side of the. For me, dwarves are kind of like worker bees,
Yes.
in a way. In that, like, yeah, you have the queen, and then you have the female princesses, in a way,
Yes.
of like a hive of bees and all that kind of stuff, who hold power as well, and then everyone under them are just kind of workers. Because like the way that I looked at it is like dwarves living in the mountains, living away from away from the sun and all that kind of stuff. That's just how the thing works. And so with the matriarchal society of dwarves, if someone has a son, they are relegated to just work. In this universe, blood is very sacred. Just because of the high fantasy aspect that I've sort of put into it, blood can be used for many different ways. Blood contains the soul, blood contains your essence. And
Yes.
so what can be done is that, well, shit, if I don't need a worker, how else can I utilize this person? Well, that's to use their blood. And so rather than the queen of the dwarves, rather than saying, hey, I am going to just put my son to work, she decided, I'm going to sacrifice my son so that I can get more power. Which is whatever. For the dwarves, that is that's a Tuesday. And so it doesn't really matter. And so the interlude is pretty much just setting up that, yeah, this is how the dwarves work. The queen was going to sacrifice Sturm. That leads into Blood and Stones. Blood and Stones is essentially about them going to sacrifice Sturm, him being able to escape from that, and then essentially go all Gollum gremlin mode in the tunnels. Because the tunnels are so immense and all that kind of stuff, he's been able to essentially live out his life in the tunnels. But by living by himself and, you know, growing up in these tunnels, needing to essentially live like a rat, his mental state is fucking gone. And so anytime that he comes across anybody in the tunnels, he just murks them. That's it. Like,
oh shit,
no questions asked. He just murks them because he's just so warped that if he sees anybody else, they're here to take him back to that fucking that so yeah. And so what he has done as well, though, is because blood is such a important part. He is essentially started cannibalizing anybody else that he comes across and just drinking their blood to become more powerful. And in essence, he, like, the Blood and Stones is that, like, I need to write a fucking book about this, because otherwise it's just going to go too fucking far. But yeah, in essence, the stones are the currency that they use. And so he's taking your blood, he's taking your stones, and that's how he's going to thrive. And essentially he just keeps doing this and doing this and doing this. More people are sent into the fucking tunnels because they're like, someone's killing like people in the tunnels, more people, and it eventually just keeps building. He becomes more and more powerful until the point where he actually returns, and then he essentially wipes out the rest of at least his coven of dwarves.
Yes.
And then that leads into the second interlude, which is Nox Abarath.
Soaked in the blood of his once thought kin, Sturm relinquishes the precious stones. An outstretched hand, offered with strength, by a figure he believed to be naught but legend. Nox Abarath, the hero beyond compare, stares down on this wretched, broken child. Take my hands, and they shall know fear. They will know terror, eternal.
Who is the hero from Sunlover?
Yes.
So Nox Abarath was the hero in Sunlover, which occurred many years before Blood and Stones and Sturm is introduced as a character. So
Yes.
for all rights and purposes, Nox Abarath should not be alive. So the interlude is Sturm and Nox meeting, and Nox pretty much saying, "Hey, all this shitty stuff happened to you. How about you use your newfound power to help me? And we're gonna clean things up around here. We're gonna make it all tidy and a really good place for everybody." Which then leads into Terror Eternal.
Such a good freaking song. This whole EP is great.
Which is essentially Nox being rather than the hero of the people, he has now heard the good word of our boy Drakketh in that the celestial bodies fucking suck, at least from his perspective, and so now Nox is all about, hey, we're going to bring our boy Drakketh back so that he can eat the sun.
Shit.
And so, in essence, that's what Terror Eternal is about. Just him saying, "Yeah, we're gonna bring him back, and it's gonna be a good time for everybody." Which then leads into the next interlude, which introduces Morrigail.
Witnessing unbridled power bursting forth from the mountains, Arquette, Queen of the Elves, first of her name, calls forth the newly appointed captain of her royal Valkyrie. Morrigail, descend upon those fools, and bring summary to benevolent race as corruption from the sky.
Who is the figurative character from the sky, our debut single, and Morrigail is for all intents and purposes a backstabber, but she is also the figurative what people would see as the hero now. But realistically, which is going to be in the book that I'm writing at the moment for the whole thing, she is not a very good person. But for what everybody knows, she is the
new rising hero. Okay.
She is the new rising hero. And so, she gets sent out because the Queen of the Elves says, "Hey, what the fuck is going on over at the mountains with the dwarves?" Because like there's just been this huge power surge over there, which happened due to our boy Sturm murking the royal family over there and taking their blood. Yeah, hey, you need a lickety split, get over there, Morrigal, and you need to sort this shit out. And so that leads into From the Sky. Which... which is essentially just about it's just simply, yeah, we're gonna go over there and we're gonna fuck them up, and then that's it. Like, there's nothing more to say about From the Sky, because realistically, From the Sky is like this line, like there's not a lot of lyrical content in it. So that leads into the last interlude, which is the Drakketh interlude.
Battle rages as far as the eye can see. Elves striking down hooded figures, only for them to rise once more. Standing on opposing sides, Morrigal faces the once lauded hero of all, Nox Aberrath. His cold eyes strike into her a fear yet unknown. She watches in terror as he begins to speak a terrible truth. We have worshipped false idols for far too long. Now we shall bring an end to the celestial gods. Which is essentially Morrigal coming face to face with Nox, and Nox saying, hey, these are all the things that I've learned from Drakketh about like all this shit that we're fucking like that you know you guys used to know about. Yeah, we're gonna fuck this shit up. And so that leads into Undying. Which is the resurrection of our boy Drakketh, him coming back and just saying like, hey, yeah, like this stuff sucks. I'm gonna eat the sun and the moon, and then like whatever happens after that is sort of like you guys can. Yeah, it's on you. I'm gonna do this. Probably after doing this, I'm probably gonna be the only like body of like I'm gonna be a deity myself after this. But whatever you guys do after that, that's on you. So that's where the EP ends. Awesome. In a nutshell, as cohesive as I could fucking make it, without going too far into details of like the story that was
the lore. Yeah,
that's pretty much song by song what it is in the EP, what the lore is about.
Much appreciated, man.
Well, in that case, doing it a little bit different tonight for sure, ending the podcast session with the Under the Skin segment. This has been episode 41 of the Anatomy Podcast featuring Mardy Leith of Dragoncorpse, their new EP, which it is 9 songs, but 4 of them are interludes, so I understand the EP label. Yes. This is now out on all major streaming platforms, and they do have physical merch available to, I think, pre-order right now through Shattered Earth Records and all sources through Total Deathcore, so please be sure to check that out. And I mean, is there anything else you're wanting to say, or you gotta like speed run out of here?
Like I've got like another minute. I'm just about to probably have lunch with some family. it's taken a while for this to sort of come out from the inception of Dragoncorpse. We have a new member which we will be announcing probably in the next week or so. And from there, we actually have a whole bunch, a couple of new tracks that we're going to be hopefully releasing over the next 2 months. So keep an eye out for that. One's actually a cover. It's our own recreation of a fairly popular song, which I think everyone should be pretty happy about. And then, another full, completely original track featuring a member of Cranium on that song. Yeah. And from there, EP2 has actually already been written. I just need to do the vocals on it, and the orchestration needs to be done. But realistically, this year should have quite a few new Dragoncorpse songs rather than just 3 singles and then a EP with essentially two new songs. This year, you should have quite a few Dragoncorpse songs. So everyone that's already a fan should. Once again, I hate the word fan, but I use it anyway because it's so ingrained in my fucking psyche. I hate it. Anyone that enjoys the Dragusi should have a lot of new content this year anyway. And so, yeah, we're hoping to onwards and upwards from there.
Fantastic. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you, Marty, for deciding to take the time, jump on the Anatomy podcast, tell your story, and then talk absolutely about this new Drakketh Saga EP, talk everything else Dragoncorpse. Everybody be sure to enjoy your night and stay tuned for episode 42.